The people who are closest to the moving gears in your company often keep quiet about their observations, especially observations about problems. This is partly because of fear and futility, and partly because there's no reward for participation in that way. This results in lost opportunities for growth, innovation, security, and sales. These blind spots hurt your company significantly. Therefore, you need to regain closeness to your process so you can eliminate them. You gain closeness to process by empowering your staff to be extensions of your eyes and ears. Fear and futility is one issue, and no reward is the other issue. Achieving engagement in your staff will solve both these issues. What you want is active participation by staff who agree to communicate freely. First, let's talk about fear. Fear comes from an estimated risk of being misperceived that can damage employment. Because one person is paying for another person for a certain outcome, there's a natural power dynamic that is part of the employer-employee relationship. Because of this, there's no incentive for an employee to say or do something that might disrupt that dynamic. In fact, it's more safe to just keep quiet. Here are some common fears. I might get fired. I might get passed up for promotion. Or I might damage relationships with coworkers. Now let's talk about futility. Futility is the perception that nothing will change no matter what you do. It looks like this. Even if I were to speak up, nothing would change. So not only would nothing happen, but I might actually get punished in some way. Unless you mitigate futility, there is no incentive at all to communicate openly. Research published in the Harvard Business Review 2010 shows that futility is 1.8 times more powerful than fear as an obstacle to feedback. Fear and futility will still exist, whether or not you choose to do anything about them. A 2015 Gallup Employee Engagement Survey showed that 50% of 7,200 adults surveyed left a job to get away from their manager. In achieving closeness to your process, you need to make everyone comfortable communicating to senior management. And that means two things. One, achieve the correct social climate to support the behavioral shift in staff. And two, provide a software tool or other technique that makes the expected behavior easy to do. First, make sure people know it is safe to speak their mind. Make it clear through your behavior that speaking openly is safe. Start by admitting an issue and asking for suggestions. Then, locate a suggestion that is easy to implement and is also beneficial, and do it immediately. Talk openly about an issue and then ask people for their advice. For example, admit the lunchroom needs improvement and ask people to share one way we can improve the lunchroom. Then see if you can locate one issue that most people mention and is also easy to fix, and fix it right away within a day or two. This gives you a quick win and starts the ball rolling. It provides the proof that being open and communicating is safe, and it also demonstrates that futility doesn't exist. Show people that you are listening by acting on some of their suggestions. Actions in a company dispel futility. Actions reinforce hope and trust. If you ask, then you must act. Otherwise, people will continue to disengage. Action leads to practice. Practice leads to habit, and habit leads to culture. One great way to keep momentum and achieve long-term sustainability is to use a software tool to facilitate a targeted two-way communication channel in your company. Most ERP implementations have modules that can be adapted for this purpose. Also, we have seen a few online tools that small businesses can use. Establish a growth culture workflow and then move it into a user interface. It's a matter of translating methodology into an engagement workflow. For example, ask for advice instead of feedback. Clarify safety. Be specific in questions. Focus on the future in questions. Do this frequently. Act on suggestions. Never be defensive. Give recognition to people that speak. Notice the difference between these two questions. A, how's it going in your department? Or B, what's one thing we can do better for next month? The second question is effective, while the first question is not. Direct Human is releasing Snug Team in 2017 that will provide an easy way to manage these dynamics. Set a good example in your company. Create a growth culture, and people will follow. Without a growth culture, it is unlikely that staff will be recruited effectively, evaluated effectively, trained effectively, managed effectively, or retained. 85% of employees feel unable to discuss concerns, and 70% hesitate to speak up at work. This is from a 2009 Cornell University National Social Survey. Managers who give little or no feedback to employees result in 4 out of 10 workers being actively disengaged. For each disengaged employee, a company loses $3,400 to $10,000 in salary due to decreased productivity. This is from a 2009 Gallup study of over 1,000 US-based employees. Again, action leads to practice, practice leads to habit, and habit leads to culture. Organize growth culture dynamics into a methodology and place it in dashboards so both leadership and staff can stay engaged easily. Without people, you have no company, so lead them well. Start by fostering a growth culture. Contact an HR professional at Direct Human for further insights. And thanks for watching.